Hey, I just want to do another crypto video because I think we're at a very, very important point. In recent videos, I've talked through resistance points. This is on the 1 month time frame. So every one of these are called candles. The red and the green bars are called candles. Every one of these candles represents a resistance point. It's over a month time frame, but it allows you to see just general patterns. As I mentioned before, the yellow line is the 7-day moving average. The pink line is the 25-day moving average. Within these patterns, you want to see about how the candles hug that yellow line and how they respond to it and how they respond to the pink line. And these are some of the fundamental elements of trying to predict price movements. And that's how you get insights. Of course, listen, crypto is completely manipulated and nothing in this video is financial advice. It's only my thoughts. But again, not financial advice, and every investment comes with risk. But if you can predict price movements more successfully than you don't, then you stand a chance to make a little bit of money. And you should never invest what you're not prepared to lose. And I was going to talk through quickly the different types of crypto investors, but really it's any type of investor in terms of stocks and shares and things like that. So you've got the type of investor that does not really have the money to lose, and they should not get involved. What they should really be doing is trying to think about what they would have done and just try to track the patterns and be more comfortable with it and think, yeah, I think maybe I am at a low in the market. And then you reality test it and think, yeah, I was right, or no, I was wrong. And all the points that you would have done something and how it would have panned out. Because this market, especially crypto, being manipulated, what it wants to do is induce people in. And then if you go in there with a mindset that you need instant success, otherwise your fears are realized, and then you get out, that is the exact type of person who's going to buy at the higher price and then sell at a loss, basically. And that ain't going to get you anywhere. I did a few videos recently over the last few months about trading bots. You know, the type of thing where you can just let it run and it trades on volatility. And I think for the everyday person, that probably is the way to go. A little bit technical in setting things up, especially in the UK, just because of the restrictions. I like being on Binance for one reason or another, but there are others. And basically, the bots are only compatible with certain crypto providers, basically. And for me, still, Binance is the best. I was going to touch on something that Trump did when there's that kind of stocks crash. He said something, I think it was about 2 months ago on a Friday, something about maybe banning Chinese people from being able to trade on crypto. And then they just panic sold, which sent the market down about 40%, and a lot of people got liquidated. In fact, there's another crypto provider called KuCoin. My trading bot got liquidated on there, and that money's gone. So again, trade at your own risk. That brings me on to another type of crypto trader, right? So you've got the beginner who's just very risk averse, like too risk averse. You know, they can't see the cyclical nature of all kind of investments. It's going to go up and it's going to go down, and you haven't actually lost money until you trade it out, right? Then I mentioned about the bots very briefly that really want that volatility. You want it to go down, and then you just wait for it to go back up again, and you'll be buying at the lower price and selling at the higher price. The other type of crypto person that gets caught out, and this is the most vulnerable ones, are the ones that know a little bit about the market. The market sets things up that it's going to give you indicators it's going to go one way, and then it completely reverses. Now, admittedly, that was about Trump on that particular day, and that's not being anti-Trump, but he said something which created the markets, I think it was about 30% in one day. Let me try and find it, because then you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it might have been this one. This one here, this candle here, 10th of October 2025. Just ticking along, and then all of a sudden, the bottom falls out of the market. In any case, what they caught out was people using leverage. No, leverage is borrowing. So say you start off with £100, then you borrow up to £1,000 of crypto using that £100. So your risk, your exposure is 100, and you're trading with 1,000. So if you know what you're doing, you will make 10 times the amount of money that you could have made with that 100. You know what I mean? But when an unexpected event happens, like what happened here, prices dropped from 122 right down to 102 in a day. And yeah, I think the altcoins means anything other than Bitcoin, they dropped even more. They dropped like 40%. like 40%. Okay, so this was the 10th of October. Let's go into Doge on the 10th of October. You'll probably see it again. Here we go. 10th of October. So that one plunged 22% in a day. So it started off around about here at 24 cents and it went down as far, that seems more than 20, it says 22%, but it went from 22 cents all the way down to 9.5 cents in a day. When it says a day, it went down in about an hour, within about an hour on that particular day. And long story short, what I'm saying is a lot of people would have lost everything and got liquidated, just like my KuCoin holding. It all happened too quick for me to do anything about anything. Then Trump reversed what he said and the price reversed all the way back up to around about 20 cents. So that flushed out a lot of money in the market unless you were a bear on the day. Bear meaning expecting the price to go down. Right. So all that to say this. So if we go back in, we'll always start off with Bitcoin. Right. So I'm on the 1 month time frame. You can see very clearly that the high is around about here, 126,000. And you can see that the low was, if you look on the left hand side, the low was 80,600, which is not a halving, but is a significant pullback, and it pulled back to this key point here of the 25-day moving average on the 1 month time frame. And for me, and again, this is not financial advice, you would probably expect it to drift up past 126,000 to uncharted territory of 150,000, but nobody really knows. And a key resistance point does remain at this point in time, $126,000, which is the historic high. But let's go back to the altcoins. I think Doge is a very, very good example. And the reason why I go to Doge is because some of the other altcoins are based on some kind of theory of fundamentals until something else comes along which beats it. And if it's beaten, then that price can crater. The good or bad thing about crypto like Doge is it's got absolutely zero value whatsoever. So in my mind, and again, this is not financial advice, it is only if the system itself is compromised, which would lead it to crater. Because you can't increase or decrease something which is valued at zero. You know what I mean? And in many ways, that is true of most, if not all, of crypto. But anyway, what we're looking at on the 1 month time frame is the recent historic high, which is around about here, 48 cents. And recognize that where we are here is about 15 cents. So there's 300% potential between this point here and where we are now. It could go up 300%. And if you look where we are in terms of the cycles, the ups and the downs, we are very much at the bottom. Yes, it could go down to here, which is about 5 cents. Very possible. But it could also go up threefold, somewhere close to where it was this time last year. Massive upside potential. So I think right now is not a bad time, depending on what type of investor you are. Remember I said at the start, whether you're that kind of shaky investor, whether you're a leverage investor, which adds all risk to everything, or whether you can buy low, sell high. If you were the type of person with money that you can afford to risk, because you could go down to zero, obviously, as with all investment, and invest now at this point, 15 cents, and just say, yeah, I'm just going to wait it out. But better still, if you could put in what's known as, I'll show you. It's called a limit order, where it says, when you look at the top row, buy or sell at a specific price or better. You put in a limit order, you look at the chart and say, I'm going to buy here at 15. I think this price is going to at least double. Got a resistance point there about 42. Well, actually, I know they like round numbers, so I'm going to go in about 39.5, which would mean hopefully at some point in the next 12 months or 2 years or whatever it's going to be, it could happen at any time or never happen. I'm going to see if that stake, whatever it is, the money I'm prepared to lose can treble. And I'm not giving financial advice. So if you're going to go in now, and again, I've got nothing to do with Doge. I do have investments in Doge. But listen, anybody watching this video is not going to increase the price or adjust it in any meaningful way. Unless you're a mega billion whale, in which case you should be telling me. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at these charts and in my point of view and make your own analysis, and it's not financial advice, and it's not only particular to Doge, you're just using as an example, I think there's incredibly high upward potential. And what I'm going to do, buy now, money I'm prepared to lose, and just ride it out until a cautious something like 39, something just below 40, and see if I can see my money increase 2.5 times within the next, say, 6 to 12 months. Very possible. Let's look at another one. You got something very similar with Shiba Inu. You got here a recent high on the 1 month time frame of 0.404567. And at the moment we're at 868. So for us to get back to that level, the price would have to go up, if you look to the right hand side, fourfold. Shiba Inu is another worthless token like Dogecoin, and at any point, for whatever reason, the powers that be are very likely to try and spike this price from where it is. So you may well say, well, actually, there's a resistance point there at the 403073. So from 869, oh my gosh, there's a 248% potential there. I can just sit on some money. Yes, it can go down a little bit, and I'll ride it out as long as it doesn't get completely corrupted or compromised in terms of its security. There is a chance, and it's money I'm prepared to lose, that in the next 6-12 months or however long it takes, it's going to go up 248%. So maybe there's another resistance point here. Maybe I'll try and aim for it to double within the next, hopefully, 6 months. So this happened here, November 2024. We're now in December. So, that's a 12-month time frame. 12 months ago, it was around about here. So hopefully in the next 12 months, I'll get somewhere near there again. And if it does, then it's trebled. So the profit margin here is 200%. To go from where we are now to go back to that point about a year ago, you're making 200% profit, which means doubling up is going to be around about there-ish. Whereas potential to go there or even there. And that is crypto right there. So listen, good luck. Don't take any risks that you don't want to take. I just wanted to give an overview in terms of where I think we are in terms of the crypto market. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Could be right. I hope I'm right. If I'm right, I'm going to make a whole stack of money. And I think a lot of people are too. So don't say I didn't tell you. Best of luck to everybody. Don't risk what you're not prepared to lose. And I may well do some videos on how to create an account, because that is a whole kind of tricky thing in itself. And due to the UK laws, you would have to submit to Binance if they accept your new account application, because you won't be able to finance your account with pounds, basically, which makes it even more complicated, which is why I'd have to do another video. But they are going to ask for things like proof of your ID, your status in the UK, which you may or may not want to do. And that is completely fine. And that's not sending it to me. And I don't work for Binance. I'm just saying that is the biggest one as far as I know. And that's the type of things that they're likely to ask for. Anyway, please like, subscribe. That is Steve, and I'm out.